So actually, as I was recording this video, totally unrelated to the rest of the video, a new kind of flaw, slight security flaw with Fallout 76 was found. This literally just happened. I only found out about it within the past hour. There's been no official response or update, but basically, if you're a PC user and you go to the Fallout 76 launcher, if you click on the shop tab at the top here, it says shop at Bethesda.net. This will open the shop tab in your preferred browser, whatever one is set to be the main one. That link that it actually gives you, if you quickly copy and paste that and send it to somebody else, or somebody else can screenshot that and actually put it into their own browser, that actually automatically logs you into your account. So you can see here, just me copying that link, putting it into an incognito tab, which I should be logged out of, I could log in. I tested this, sent it to several other people, and 4 other people logged into my account. Now, fortunately, you can't actually do things like change my password because I have a security question set up, and just in general, I don't think too many people would be passing around this link. You have to be kind of quick to copy and paste it anyway, but this was just found just being talked about in the community, and I did want to put it at the start of this video so you don't accidentally get hacked this way. Obviously, this is a fairly large security flaw. Just having a link that will endlessly log you into my account is pretty friggin' dangerous. But with that said, on to the regular video here. We got a lot to talk about in regards to Fallout 76 and Fallout 76 news. We gotta have a little sit down personal one-on-one with Bethesda about what's going on with this game and why that's problemsome, but even further, just more on the objective side of things, we have some updates as far as responses from Bethesda on certain banned players, responses from banned players, and updates around some of their recent cases, and updates around some of the exploits or glitches / hacks around this game and bans along with those. So hopefully with this, I interweave it into one nice, beautiful story for you all to digest. But either way, if you guys aren't familiar with the current situation with Fallout 76, a little while ago now, I reported on how several users were actually banned from Fallout 76. Most of the time, this is a good thing, and you could even argue in this particular instance the ban itself was a good thing, but what later became known was several of these people were actually prominent community members that were helping improve or fix glitches with Fallout 76. A couple of weeks ago, we got maintenance on a Saturday that was to fix a major security flaw with the game. The people who actually found that security flaw reported it to Bethesda got banned for the tools they used to find that flaw in the first place. And all the while this is happening, there's a ton of hackers in the Battle Royale mode that continue to be unbanned or only receiving temp bans. So one thing that is pretty important to keep clear, although I keep referring to these as bans, and I'll probably continue to do so, most of the time for many of these users, the initial email they get is actually a suspension email. Typically it looks something like this and does read, "This account is suspended indefinitely pending further investigation due to violating the terms of service and code of conduct. We cannot allow cheating or the exploitation of the game, as it is in direct violation of the following sections of the code of conduct." So you have a period where you don't have access to your account anymore, but you can kind of appeal it or try and get unbanned. And personally, I think everything up until this point is actually totally fine. It seems like the vast majority of the people caught in this ban wave were caught as a result of using certain third-party tools to actually help them find some of these exploits or do other things with the game. Those tools also do have malicious uses. But if you provide evidence, if you show, hey, look, I was working with Bethesda for the past several months, or I was working on this map project for the past several months, and in fact not using these tools for malicious purposes, then you would get unbanned in the matter of, 24, 48 hours? Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is quite a bit different than that. So in the time since my last video, one user actually has managed to get unbanned. This is one of the people who actually did help massively behind the scenes, one of the big data miners with Fallout 76, but even further helping Bethesda actually fix several issues. He was in contact with people from Bethesda and he was able to get his ban overturned. It did take 13 days, which is kind of ridiculous in its own right, but conversely, several of the other users that have been caught in the suspension wave have actually received permanent bans from Bethesda. So first, taking a look at the case with Undefined, the creator of Map 76. To simplify his situation, and I will have a link to his full post on this down below, he basically found somewhere where he thought there was an exploit in Fallout 76. Using third-party tools, he tested this and found he was right. There actually was a way to exploit the game and gain access to legendaries you typically shouldn't be able to. But as he went to discuss this with others, he found out it had already been reported to Bethesda and actually started getting posted online anyway, and shortly thereafter he received a suspension. So again, not too big of a deal. I think that does make sense, assuming he does get unsuspended shortly thereafter when he shows he wasn't using this maliciously, and he can prove, hey, I've been in contact with other people about this this whole issue and reporting it. And in fact, he was in contact with people from Bethesda about getting that resolved. But then a month goes by. So basically on his support ticket, pretty similar to this email, he just never received a response for 1 month. Up until tonight, where he actually finally did receive the response that he was getting permanently banned from Fallout 76 and losing access to that account. He's posted a full response on this here, and I will have this also linked down below. But then looking at the case of the other user who also did get a permaban in this situation, there's another data miner user who had been submitting issues to Bethesda for many months at this point. So somebody who is directly responsible for getting certain exploits or security flaws patched. And just weeks after that major security flaw issue, they also received this ban. And despite pleading their case with Bethesda themselves, the people they had been interacting with previously, but also to Bethesda support, they also just received a permanent ban. It's saying that after a thorough review of your account, it has been determined that the account did in fact violate our terms of service. We regret to inform you that your appeal for a account ban reversal is denied due to the evidence within our system for cheating and exploitation of the game. And then there's one user who just literally still hasn't heard anything. They've been banned for a really long time now, almost a month, and they have yet to hear anything back from support. And to be clear on these permabans, something that I don't think a lot of people realize, and I don't know if it's intentional or not intentional, but these are actually Bethesda account bans. So Bethesda has their own launcher. If you owned other games on that launcher, you lose access to them. I talked about this in the past with one of my previous videos with other users getting banned, but yeah, none of these people can log into Bethesda.net or the Bethesda launcher anymore, which also has the double effect of now they could actually no longer access these tickets or even appeal this ban any further because they can't log into the account that the ticket was sent to. They just have it now in their email. And to really just put it into context to explain what exactly happened here, Fallout 76 community members found certain exploits within the game. They tested those, documented how exactly they could occur, and then reported them to Bethesda. Much of the time it was actually later then patched out or fixed. But then were actually banned in the ban wave for that exploit because they technically did do the exploit to actually figure out how it works. And the utterly bizarre part about this, at least to me, is that this actually isn't kind of a universal Bethesda thing. As I mentioned before, one person with this situation actually got unbanned. It's not totally clear why they did and others didn't, even others who had been in contact with Bethesda regularly before this event occurred, but those Bethesda contacts have been advocating on the part of the band. They've been trying to get those bans overturned. They just seem to have been unable to. Like, the Bethesda contact agrees you shouldn't be banned for this, but the Bethesda support seems to not agree, and they're like, nope, yep, they're getting banned, and apparently it's staying that way as it now has been made permanent. And really, to me, this all boils down as to a major issue with Bethesda support, and this is not something new. Just for the fact alone that you could have Bethesda support ignore you for a full month after losing complete access to your account is kind of crazy. Like, I understand those investigations might take a little while, but is it that hard to say, hey, we're still investigating, or to say anything? And this is not a new problem. If you've been watching my channel for even a little while now, you probably know I have talked about this exact issue many times before. Earlier in 2019, we had major ban waves with Fallout 76. A ton of people were banned and they said, hey, I don't deserve to be banned, I wasn't cheating. Whether or not that's true or false or what the situation was, who knows? My major criticism of that was those people who were trying to appeal the bans that they did have the right to appeal, it said it literally right in the ban email, just were getting ignored by support also. They'd plead their case and hear nothing back, many actually sending multiple tickets. All of these subsequent ones were closed, and several of these users just literally never heard anything back and gave up on the game. This has been a major problem for a long time. It's one thing to have automated ban waves, it's a totally separate thing to ignore those who might have been caught by accident or who might have special use cases, especially when you have members of your own company advocating on their behalf. That seems pretty indicative that there's a major problem here. Separately from that, Bethesda actually has given a more official response around this. There's been recently a couple of major Reddit posts to pop up that got quite a bit of support saying that you should not report exploits for Fallout 76 because that will lead to you getting banned. That's like totally misleading. At least based off everything I've heard, everybody I've talked to, and everything said thus far, you're not getting banned for just reporting an exploit, you're getting banned for doing the exploit, then reporting it. Obviously, for most people, those go hand in hand, but if you're a hypothetical third party and you just see somebody hacking, you're not going to get banned for watching somebody else do it, or at least nobody thus far has been banned for that. With this particular post, the dude definitely does clarify this in the description of it, but Bethesda, I guess, felt like this was fairly misleading, so they actually did create a full post of their own to correct this, titled "Players are not banned for reporting issues and/or exploits." They say here that, we've been seeing rumors flying around about the notion that players who report issues are banned. We want to assure you this is without a doubt not true. They then go over some details on how you can exactly report some of these exploits, but also that we would never ban a player for reporting issues or exploits. There have been cases where players have used third-party software to take advantage of an exploit, usually in excess of hundreds of times. In cases where this has happened, this is a violation of our terms of service, and in those cases, the accounts are actioned. If you find an exploit, you should absolutely report it to us, but do not continue to use it. And at the end, they actually do say we are actively issuing suspensions and bans to players confirmed to be hacking and cheating in Nuclear Winter, while we work on a fix to address some of the most common exploits and cheats. So several users, including those who I talked about earlier in this video, really took issue with this comment, because although true, I guess, it kind of isn't an accurate representation of what's happening here. If you abuse the exploit, perhaps several times to figure out exactly how it works, and then try and report that to Bethesda, you still may get permabanned. We saw this explicitly in one of the cases, and the other case he didn't actually report it because he said somebody else had reported it already, but he can prove that that was the case. And even further, in both of those previous situations, there were two users who, even if they just were using an exploit, they had a history of helping Bethesda. They weren't some unknown weird third party. They had had communication beforehand. So honestly, with this one, I'm not even sure what the situation is. Like, if I think I found an exploit in game, can I test it and then report it? This seems to clear up the fact that if I see an exploit, I won't get banned for it, which yes, obviously, but I genuinely don't know. Like, if somebody says, hey, you could dupe using this, and then I try and dupe using that, but then never do it again and immediately report that evidence to Bethesda, would I get banned for that? Because based on the current situation, it seems most likely that yes, I would actually get banned for doing that. And really the icing on the cake for this entire situation, something that just makes it so outlandish and crazy to me. Even though we are of course seeing some permabans for users that were helping fix or improve this game, on the other side of things, there are still massive problems. People not doing things for the betterment of the game, and rather just abusing these exploits. As of late, there have actually been duper giveaways. These basically being giveaways of very rare items in Fallout 76, or even you could go to a duper and a duper giveaway and he will dupe a certain item for you. Those users still aren't banned. They sent me these screenshots from reportedly what was one of these giveaways, and you can see everyone nicely lining up to wait their turn, but that kind of is a crazy situation. To have somebody who just tried to help you fix your game and actually successfully did so with you applying a hotfix, but then conversely, people who are duping in the game actually being totally fine, at least as of right now. Although fortunately with this duping situation, Bethesda is trying to fix it. They actually attempted to fix it today, but it didn't seem to work out totally. Fallout 76 was taken down for maintenance with the intention of hotfixing this dupe, but during that it seems like they ran into an issue and thus it didn't actually fully ship. But hey, at least they are trying to address it, or it will seemingly be addressed at some point. But just for some final thoughts on this mess of a video, and I don't think it's a mess because of the video, but because of the content being so freaking messy, this really does make me have pretty deep questions for what's going on right now at Bethesda. This really isn't that complicated of a problem, at least to me. I don't see how this is some big complicated issue that's prolonged for so long. Like, okay, yeah, you do an automated ban wave, you catch a bunch of people that were exploiting. Fortunately, it's not actually a ban, it's a suspension. They have time to submit evidence, appeal that. They do so, they submit evidence saying that, hey, I was actually testing this exploit, here's some proof of me doing so. In fact, I've actually been in contact from people at Bethesda. They try and get you unbanned also. How are you not unbanned in like 48 hours? Like, what is so complicated about that? It's not like we're getting tons of bans all the time. You don't hear about ban waves that often with this game, that the system should be overworked to that degree. But instead, in reality, you're having users wait a month just to get a response, and the response is just, oh, yep, you're permabanned, sorry. And the crazy part about all of this is, on the hacking side of Nuclear Winter, right now, the policy, at least as I've been told, is you get a 3-day suspension for your first offense. So I could hack this game in the Battle Royale mode, only get banned for 3 days, and I'll still be fine, even if I do it totally maliciously. Conversely, if you use an exploit to try and find the exploit and report it, you can get a permaban first try. And for me at least, it just really brings up a lot of questions about the company handling this game right now. Like, initially, there was a good thing going on. Members from Bethesda working directly with the community to actually get certain bugs fixed. That's good. That's the kind of stuff I want to see happening. But then for those users to get banned, to not get real communication back from support, and then several of the bans to become permanent, that's insane. Even further, when you look at some of the other issues that have been happening, like the consistent bugginess of some of the updates that get shipped. There have been multiple issues with multiple aspects of this, and the common denominator denominator is Bethesda. And I think just realistically speaking, if they want Fallout 76 to succeed, they have to take a look at what they're doing internally, how they're handling certain situations, and really evaluate what has to change to make things succeed in the future, because whatever they're doing right now is definitely not working. Either way, hopefully you guys found this video informative. It definitely is a bit of a longer one, but there's a lot to talk about. As always, again, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.